This mass suicide was discovered here in the ancient Mayan city of Tikal. The victims adhere to the Mayan calendar, which predicts that the end of time will coincide with a planetary alignment on the 21st of December of 2012.
Did you see that movie 2012? I did, and it scared the bejeebers out of me, or at least Woody Harrelson did. As you may know, it's the end of the world this year, as predicted by the Mayans, who, if they were better predictors, would have also predicted their own demise. But we are already into 2012, and except for the filling of the airwaves during the dead days of New Year's Eve, the media has been silent about the end of the world. Our own Chris Sims, hunkered down in Ottawa, has written about surviving the end of the world in a Sun Media newspaper series that should be must-reading for everyone. If the Mayans are right, our world will come to a fiery end 4 days before Christmas. So don't get your shopping done too early. Is there any escape? We'll ask the upbeat Chris Sims, because nothing seems to get her down. Chris, can we make it till January or December 21st, or should we start packing now?
Well, lots of people who believe in the Mayan calendar and the 2012 doomsday clock, so to speak, would definitely say no, and we all have to be prepared. To be honest, my interest in the survivalist series that I started, I did 5 stories so far, and I'd like to continue it, actually comes from an economic perspective. Well, it's funny to watch those movie clips and mystical to think about the calendar instead of just thinking that maybe they ran out of room on the stone calendar, that it's actually the end of the world. The clear and present danger for many people is the economy. In fact, starting in 2008, Bono, after the crash, so-called subculture of survivalism, that was one of the few booming industries in the United States. It is multi-million-dollar industry. Everywhere you go online, if you start looking around, say, Glenn Beck or The Blaze or Fox News, anything like that, it's, emergency seed packets, how to store your own food, all that sort of thing. And these people are otherwise normal-looking folk. It doesn't necessarily mean they have a bunker. Sometimes they store food in their garage, that sort of thing. And it comes from this term of preppers. Always be prepared. It doesn't need to be the Mayan 2012 calendar or, cannibals roving the streets. It could be an ice storm. Yeah,
but there's always something that has to be a hook for this. I remember, you're too young to recall this, but I remember the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s, and my dear old dad at the time was thinking in our root cellar, storing water and putting down root vegetables and stuff, and just in case there was an atomic war. I mean, in school we were even taught to, as if this would help you at all, put your head between your legs under the desk and hang on.
That's right. I was actually taught that as well. I didn't get the Cuban Missile Crisis, of course, but lived under, the Reagan times, and we got the emergency broadcast system, across all the television networks. And so I lived with that as well. And frankly, your dad was smart. That could have gone very badly. Luckily,
well, a root cellar wouldn't have done much to save us, I'll tell you that much. But anyhow, the thought was there, the love was there. Now,
absolutely.
Now, what about survival? What are the top tips for survival right now? Obviously, drinking water would be number one, I would think.
Absolutely. There's several different ways to go about this, and we do have a list ready for you. This is for people who are going to so-called bug in. They're not going to grab their bag and run. That's a different supply list. This is for if you're going to stay put. So your list is non-perishable food. So that's like, canned goods, freeze-dried goods, that sort of thing. Clean drinking water. Either have, clean drinking water tablets, or there's even something called a bathtub bug. It's this whole plastic thing you can fill into your bathtub, and it keeps it sealed. So very interesting there. Also,
and you can buy this stuff, can you?
Yes, you can. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, it's multi-million-dollar online. There's tons of websites you can buy all this stuff. It's amazing, actually. Also, of course, most survivalists, especially in the States, say firearms and or protection.
That's what I like. I like that. And guard dogs, too. I think guard dogs are on there somewhere. Not on this list, but I remember seeing something about guard dogs.
Of course, you got to have guard dogs to protect your own cache of supplies, and just maybe Terminator's right, and they need to be able to spot them, right? So you need those dogs. We've got to continue with the list here. We've got more things on there. Let me take a quick look here. I think there was a little bit more on that.
Here we come.
Yes, we do. Secured bunker or a house. So, fortify your windows, fortify your doors. Again, this is if everything's hitting the fan. I mean, law has broken down. There are people roving the streets.
Because money is worthless now.
Absolutely. Money is worthless. You're the only one that has food and water. This is the worst case scenario here. Okay. Also, an older car or a horse. The reason why there's an older car on there, I'll explain that a little bit later. And also, finally, to connect with other preppers they all are now collecting ham radios or walkie-talkies or those old CBs that truckers used to use.
Yeah, well, walkie-talkies and CBs are probably the best one.
Absolutely.
But you need power to run those things, though, too.
Interesting, this is where left and right meet. Lots of preppers are into these little mini solar panels or making their own biodiesel in their garages, that sort of thing. So you get all these earthy, crunchy folk on the left that want to have their own organic gardens and their own utopias, but you get these very serious-minded preppers who are worried about, you know, anything happening. They're also latching onto this. So having your own sustainable source of power is a big, big focus for a lot of these people.
Okay, I got a 12-year-old car. Is that old enough? Because
No.
I don't have a horse.
No, it has to be old. And the reason for that is...
Carburetors, I bet.
It has to be exactly. And computers. Computers is the big thing. So people often say, oh, this is very fringe, it's very subculture. Actually, no, it's not. If you take a look at the last GOP debate last night, two of the guys standing up on that stage, Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul, are key members of this group, at least in some way. And I present you Exhibit A. This is called 1 Second After. It's a very, very popular book. It talks about an EMP attack. That stands for electromagnetic pulse. An EMP is this. It's one nuclear weapon, detonated high in the atmosphere. The fallout, in theory, jams and melts down everything that's a computer.
This is when you want to have lead underwear.
Exactly. You know, you got to have it already. But my point is, the guy who wrote the foreword to it is Newt Gingrich.
Oh no!
So absolutely, he thinks this is a clear and present danger, and so much so, Bono, really.
And he may be president of the United States.
They're taking this very seriously. Even in Washington, Bono, there was a major committee that studied the true threat of an EMP attack, and they found that a lot of their areas hadn't been so-called hardened against any sort of EMP attack. And basically the argument is, yes, it probably won't happen, but it would be very easy to do it just once, and that's all it would take to take out North America and send it back 300 years.
Kim, go save yourself. We're out of time on this. I'm getting all nervous now. You scared me more than Woody Harrelson did in the movie 2012. But thanks for being with us.
On people.